guys again. Welcome back to Manly. Just to start off real quick, kids have been working extremely hard in our preparation to go play a very good Clemson football team. It'll be a great experience for all the kids and the coaches alike. I've never been there, but to go down to Death Valley and experience that venue is going to be pretty awesome. And we're looking forward to it. And I've been pleased with the way the kids have prepared, and we'll be down there before you know it. So with that, any questions?
Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Coach.
Hi, Mark.
Your best games, it seems like, have been on the road. At least they're your two most dominant wins. What do you attribute that to, and how do you expect that to continue?
Well, I don't know. I don't put a whole lot into that, to be honest with you. We try to prepare the same way, but hopefully we'll continue to play well on the road. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. I know the kids, I think we like the routine. It's kind of neat. We call it a business trip, and we try to approach it the same way every week. You kind of get into a rhythm, both on the road or at home. But, I do like, personally, I do like to go on the road. You kind of become a little bit more contained when you're on the road. The kids are on the buses. We're all together the whole time. And the process is interesting. I actually liked it both as a player and a coach. You had a little bit more quiet time, I guess, and there wasn't as much noise going on. But hopefully we can go on the road and put out a great effort against this Clemson team.
Stephen?
Clemson's quarterback Cole Stout's kind of banged up. I know he's been taking painkiller shots and all that for his shoulder. But does that change the approach at all? I know Chuck's already pretty aggressive, but
yeah, no, I wasn't aware of that. Not really. I think we look at what they do on offense more than who they are initially, and when that changes is when there's a great one. And then you have to defend. Try to defend the best player with the best stats, that sort of thing. But I wasn't aware of that.
Kind of going off of Stephen's question, how has the Adam Choice injury impacted your prep this week?
I missed that first part.
How has the impact of Adam Choice's injury changed your preparation for this week?
Not a whole lot, because their backups are very good football players as well. I feel bad for the kid. I'm glad we don't have to tackle him, I guess, but I do feel bad for all these kids that go through the the injury process. They do have quite a few weapons behind them, and I think they're getting back one of the young guys that they're high on. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think Coach Morris will change a bunch what he's doing because of that injury. Coach Morris is as you guys know, one of the sharpest offensive coordinators in the country, and I think the reason he's so good is he understands who he's got to play with, and he understands his system, understands the strengths and weaknesses of his system, and will adjust it to who's playing. But the thing that I've noticed in watching them the last couple of years is Chad will get back to the different processes that have worked with people similar to what he's playing with. And the one thing that makes it difficult for us is the next guy in is those guys are very talented young men.
Nico?
Hey, Nico.
Yeah, we talked a minute about the venue, and it's got all this lore behind it. Whatnot.
Yeah.
I see this as just kind of an opportunity to go down there in this place and get a win in Death Valley.
That's right. I think there's two things. We all remember. You watch the movie Hoosiers. And then the coach comes out and he says, it's still 10 feet. It's still this. Same thing. Every 5 yards is still 5 yards. The goal post is the same size as the ones we kick at. So you look at all those things. But there's another part of it, too, that I feel is important. I want our kids to feel it and enjoy it. The process of going to something, going to a situation like Death Valley, and enjoying it and taking it all in. And then being able to zero in and say, okay, for the next 5 to 6 seconds, I need to do a great job with this particular defense or this particular offense, and see if I can win one play at a time within the framework of all this pomp and circumstance. And that's the beauty of coaching, is trying to teach your kids to enjoy the process, because you only get a handful of these opportunities in your lifetime, in your football lifetime. So let's really take it all in and enjoy it. and then narrow in and say, let's play football between the two white stripes that are the same as our two white stripes back here at home. That's kind of the challenge that you enjoy as a coach, and to try to get the kids to do that, and especially when a bunch of them are just teenagers right now, some of these young guys. It'd be a great challenge for us, but one that I cherish and look forward to. So do the kids. Yeah. Danny. Go ahead.
AJ Long, obviously his energy, his positivity,
yeah.
The huddle, you talked about how important that's been after having his first start, getting that victory out of the way. How is the team kind of responding to his level of excitement, and how can that help going into a place like that?
Yeah, well, I think I was talking about this earlier with some other folks. I think the one thing I like about AJ is when he makes a mistake, he owns it right away. He'll own it as soon as it happens, which is kind of not par for the course with a lot of these kids right now. You know, a lot of times they'll drop their hands, man, it's not, you know, I wasn't explained it right, or, you know, they'll go into this mode. AJ doesn't do it. He owns it and says, oh, boy, coach, I really screwed that one up. What's the next play? Which I think sounds pretty simple, but I think that's one of his strengths. The kids see that. The players see that. He's also got this sense of energy and a little bit of moxie to him where he just kind of goes in there and says, I'm going to get it done. And you love that about him. And each week that he plays will be a bigger challenge, especially when you look at going down to Death Valley and playing one of the best defenses in the nation at their home, on homecoming. But that's what AJ signed up for, and I'm looking forward to seeing him go, and looking forward to trying to help him through the tough times, and letting him go down there and play and carry some of that moxie with him. I know the kids love it. His teammates, you know, those big linemen, they get the huddle, and it's kind of like their little brothers playing, and they're going to try to protect him, you know. So it's a lot of fun, and he's a fun guy to coach and be around.
I was just curious what your kind of reaction was to the Weinstein report in North Carolina.
You know, I really haven't read it. Missy mentioned it to me. My wife mentioned it to me, and I haven't. I don't know the details of it. I'd be speaking with a lot of ignorance, to be honest with you, if I made a comment. But you know, the one thing I will say is I like the way our kids have approached walking through this building and through this campus with integrity and an appreciation for the educational process and the opportunity at Syracuse. And just how lucky they are to be at a school like this, you know, going through the processes, and what a great job our people have done setting up opportunities for the kids to get an unbelievable degree at Syracuse the right way, with integrity. And I'm very proud to be part of that with our student athletes here.
Just to follow up quickly, kind of part of the report was when they spoke to the coaches of the various sports that maybe they had suspicions that there were paper classes going on, essentially with the players just had to turn in a paper and people would do them for them. They didn't know explicitly about it, but they may have suspected something. As a head coach, how kind of involved do you like to be with students' academics, and do you think if there was, I mean, this is an extreme, but
yeah, a lot of the things, yeah, a lot of things you're talking about I'm not familiar with. What I can do is to speak to our regard. My biggest responsibility is when we take a kid into our program is to ensure that he has opportunities to excel academically. Sometimes that means putting football second. And I won't mention names, but throughout my time here, I've taken kids off the football field quietly that you guys have said, well, what's his injury? And I didn't say, well, his injury is that he struggles with math and he needs a tutor, and the only time we can get a tutor is during practice, so he's missing practice today. And then on the flip side, I've taken kids off the field and taken what they love maybe most when they're young away from them to try to motivate them to do a better job understanding that taking care of their education is going to give them an opportunity of a lifetime. And the best example, and it's not embarrassing to bring up his name because he's grown, would be Ivan. Ivan was struggling, and football, you know, football was here and academics were here with his mindset. And we had to get that thing turned, so we decided with his family and myself, we decided that the best thing to do was to make it really hard for him and take football away to see if we can see that change agent. We did that. He did extremely well in school. He's matured as a young man. And that's the type of thing that we look at. The one thing I can promise the parents when we recruit their sons is I can promise them that we're going to do everything we can to give them a chance to be successful academically. And that if football is getting in the way of that, we'll take it away. Because the teams that I've coached that have had the most success were the teams that had more players understanding how important it was to create that balance in their life. Because when they take care of their academics, for me at least, in my experiences, when they take care of their academics in a mature way, they become better football players because they approach it the same way in their preparation. And to me, that's one of those processes that we really owe to the student athlete. And I tell them there are no shortcuts. The way we're going to help you get your degree is to give you more time to get it done and maybe slow things down and maybe try to provide a good tutor that can help teach in a more sound way or a quicker way to help you get that done. But that's the way we do it here, and I can't speak on Carolina or anyone else. To be honest with you, I don't read the sports page a whole lot. There's just not time. I'm trying to get that damn red zone number up so I don't have to answer those questions for the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Mark? Coach, they came up here last year and put on a little offensive show. Obviously, different guys. How different are they? How much motivation is that?
Well, they're they're a little different in that I thought Sammy was one of the best wide receivers I had coached against in years. So that part's different. And to be honest with you, we gave them 21 points early in the game. That doesn't mean that they didn't earn it. They still needed to make the catch, and the throws were where they needed to be. But Mark, there were 3 instances where we really had some blows in coverage and handed them 21 points. My whole thing in coaching in general, regardless of the Clemson game in Death Valley, is we need to minimize the mistakes we make and force the team we're playing to earn everything they get. And being an old secondary coach, my whole thing was if you're in position to make a play and you don't make the play and their guy makes the play over top of you, I can swallow it and go to the next play because you put yourself in position. You prepared, you got yourself in position. It's when you're not in position because you made a mental error, because your focus wasn't where it needed to be, where you lose sleep at night. So our goal is to go into this game and play as sound as we can, force them to earn everything they get, and do it in such a way that we're extremely physical, fast, and playing as hard as we can throughout the course of that game and leaving it all on the field. And part of that is to be mentally in tune with not giving them things, because that was the biggest mistake we made last season. And they earned it by making those plays when we weren't where we were supposed to be. So that's the way we look at those situations.
Justin.
AJ mentioned on Tuesday you guys are using 9 guys to simulate the rush in some situations in practice. Is that something you guys have done last couple of years with other good fronts, or is that unique to the Clemson preparation?
Well, it's just the approach we're always taking is with everything you do and everything that I've done in preparation for putting a good team on the field. I always try to make it harder in practice than it would be in the game. So let's say you have a punt protection and it's a zone protection, so it doesn't matter how many numbers you have coming. It's about who's playing everything from their nose and outside and his nose and outside, So in those situations, you could do something as crazy as bring more guys than they ever could to create 2 things, an ability to work through chaos with calmness and an ability to show the kids that if they do their job right, that we can overcome anything, even something that from a plausible point of view couldn't happen in a game. And that would be something that he would probably be referring to. No different than the way we practice on defense, where we do this 2-whistle drill, so the defensive kids have to run twice as much as the offensive kids with coaches down their neck if they're not flying to the football. And then we do this camera club thing and count them up and put the accountability on them. That way on Saturday, they say, this is pretty easy. We're not running right now. Usually if we're in practice, we're still running. So those are just, a couple examples of the way we try to approach those things, and I think that's probably what AJ was referring to.
Yeah.
Scott, freshman class class, and obviously you talked about AJ, but Steve Ishmael, Antoine Cordy, some of the others, Zaire Franklin. When you look at this class and the type of talent that you're bringing in, do you feel that you're turning that corner knowing that injury or not, these guys are stepping up and they are answering your next man up call?
Yes, I do. I think the one thing you always have to differentiate is pure talent and passion with enough ability. And this class would be a class where I would say we have a group of kids that has they have a ton of similarities, and that they love football. They love football, and they have enough ability to be good at it. That's how I would classify this group, as opposed to that, that highly rated class by some star system and those types of things. The thing that I think makes this class strong is their love and passion and appreciation for the game, and we think they have enough ability to go along with it.
Last question, Stephen?
I know the injury report comes out tonight, but we
Yeah.
Brisley post pictures from practice, and it seems like he made. I know it's not what you want.
I'm mad at Brisley. Come on, Brisley, don't be posting all that. Yeah, Brisley, I will tell you this because in a few hours it'll come out. We'll get that list out to you, but yeah, Brisley practiced this week and he's doing a nice job, and so is Ashton. And with some of the other guys, we have some questionables and probables, and we still need a couple days to see if they're really ready to play and how they do. But we got a couple guys back, never as many as I want, but and I'm excited that Brisley's excited to be playing as well.
Both of those guys are good, just to confirm. Saturday.
Yes, sir. You love the injuries. God love you.
Important guys to have back, right?
Oh, tell me about it. My livelihood depends on it. Okay, we all good? All right, thanks for coming. Guys, have a good day.